Alright, so let's end this. This is it. Last bit. February 25, 2:21 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, please take the stand? Miss Lana Sky, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you are aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Sky. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. I mean... Yes, that's right. I mean, be your sister. I mean, I'll always... be your sister? That seems like not the most valuable part of the relationship. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just crazy. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to skip Gant. Gant and the fabrication. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Yeah, come on, Lana, we already exposed all these lies. Can you not be so bad at lying? Unbelievable. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense, of course I'm sure. But Lana! If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. But what if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's not stiff. Deep down, she's flaccid. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Gant and the fabrication. I worked alongside Gant for years. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years. It's not that long. Detective Gant and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. I don't know, why is it the school? It's not about the school. You know, every school has like smart kids and every school has dumbasses. Being in a school doesn't make you good. Damon Gant was a respectable detective, that's why. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. Well, you did. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana. So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? Oh, here's the part that she's gonna have to make up more stuff. It seems I was the first person to discover the scene, except for the 3 people already there. There were 3 people in the room. You're not the first person to discover the scene. You were the 4th person to discover the scene. It's like saying Christopher Columbus discovered America. Never mind like the tens of millions of Native Americans already living there. Christopher Columbus was the first person to discover America. Completely idiotic. Alright, let's keep going. You're the first person to discover the scene. Okay. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. Wait, no, that doesn't make any sense. Why would the prosecutor award knife be stuck in the body when you discovered it? You didn't discover it. He didn't die from that knife. He died from the spear on the armor. Someone else stuck the award knife into the body. Wait, but that didn't... According to the evidence, that didn't kill him because the tip of the other knife was inside his body. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. Something like that. Or Emma stabbed him, possibly. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. Or just to protect me. So when you found a scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. Oh, did you? you just like snapped it with your fingers and then like shoved it into the wound? Is that You planted the tip of Dark's knife into the victim's wound, then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that big, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of others. Why'd you plant the knife? Why'd you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason behind Miss Sky moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Pieces of the jar, you mean? Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. Wretched. In order to show that Drake committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Drake and Dark I keep saying Drake, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. Somebody threw it. Somebody threw it at them and it hit Dark and knocked them out. But I have a feeling there is more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted and nothing to do with Emma. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it, period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence. She's lying, she did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying! Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. I've got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Save the game. Save the game. No truth to this blackmail theory. Fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. Broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, and then moved the body. What happened to the other knife? What happened to the knife that was stuck to this? Rules of evidence law. Broke the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Why? Because Emma was written on the jar. If Emma was written on the jar, that means she removed at least she removed that piece of evidence to protect Emma. Alright, I'm gonna present the jar with Emma written on it. Jesus. They are related! They're related! The jar has Emma written on it! Of course it has something to do with Emma. Why would she hide that piece if she wasn't protecting Emma? This stupid game! This is holes in the story. Do I present it here? Is it? What have I presented here? I can't believe it. You presented on the previous sentence, not the next sentence. You got the right one, but it's not relevant when she said Emma. It's relevant when she said jar. Why? Isn't Emma the more relevant point? Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life would have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony. You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the evidence threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on the jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Ah! He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Okay. Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regards to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you are as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we are headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony. Okay. Jar and message in blood. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dak was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Yeah, but she didn't have all the pieces, because one of the pieces still had lines on it. Which meant somebody else took the piece before she wiped. So she wasn't alone in tampering with the evidence. Alright, let's see how the game wants me to present this. Jar and message in blood. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. So the jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defense cases. I'm not feeble. Hey, you take that back. But not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case. Lana, you do that for me? It seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened up on the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything but gather up the pieces. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Oh, that's convenient. Even I carry a bottle of emergency lumina wherever I go. You're just weird. I never miss anything, I got every last piece. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene? Yes, I don't have any excuse for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana, I didn't know. I've treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. Okay, look. Do I just present the jar again? Because that seems kinda naff. Alright, let me just present the jar again. Like you didn't get all the pieces. You did not get all the pieces. One of the pieces was in Chief Gant's office. And it had lines on it. Miss Guy, you just present this guy. The last contradiction was a jar. This contradiction is also the same jar. So you just present the same piece of evidence over and over again, and you solve the case. Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. Nani? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the Chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. Oh, Chief Gant kept the pieces of evidence with Emma's traces on it. The other one is the piece of cloth with Emma's fingerprints on it. So these are the two pieces of evidence that would tie the murder to Emma, and the chief kept it. So to blackmail Lana, if Lana ever disobeyed him, he could reveal this evidence to screw Emma. There was still blood on it, but the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Ha, can you believe that? Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken! Oh, that. There was no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant at the time he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No, no. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Yeah, no, you're not. What are you screaming for? Why are you yelling? Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Sky believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Sky became the chief's puppet. Holy crap, she actually bit into the thing. No, I did it on my own. Please sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer any more for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Okay, so who killed Marshall? Lana. Lana, who killed Marshall? Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem like the type who likes to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, right? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Well, you know, sometimes. Miss Sky, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Sky, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Oh, thank God. Alright, the witness may testify once more for the final time. Is it really the final time? Probably not. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor's sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But it was all really a fabrication. If it was already a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable! The body was impaled on the armor's sword. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. Exclamation. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. Nani? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture. It's in the book. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really did have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. Where the hell is the picture? Did she put it in the book, right? I don't trust this game. I don't trust this game. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. I looked through the book several times. I've read this book several times and the picture never fell out. The game just like... This is not a good plot twist. Because it's... I looked at it. And the game said, no, there's nothing here. And then later, plot twist, there is something there. But I looked at it. That's not a good plot twist, come on. Also this bird. It's there. Wait, it's not there? Okay, it's not there. It's... Hey, there's a picture here. Why would she have taken a picture? Wait, how would she have taken a picture? She had a camera? She had a camera and she took the picture? What? Why would she have a camera? She had a camera and she took the time to take a picture, which is likely to incriminate her sister. Why would she do that? She took an incriminating picture and then went about removing all the evidence that might incriminate her sister. But she took the picture that would incriminate her sister, probably, and kept it all this time. Unless the picture actually incriminates Gant, and this is her leverage on him. Hey, there's a picture here. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. Why would you take a picture like this? No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Also, it was dark. Did your camera had a flash? Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Lana's picture inserted into the court record.